Beautiful night out, or evening. Tornado watch, and thundering all around. We've had some sprinkles, but no real rain yet. We've played, we've thrown ball. And just something's been weighing on my mind a lot, and I figured I'd ask y'all. I haven't done a Duker's Minute or Minute with Duker or whatever in a while. This channel was supposed to be for my mental health. Mainly posting Stug is a huge part of that. He laid his ears back because I said his name. He was listening. Good boy. But something that in about the past 6 months I've seen it go from an occasional thing to maybe we're gonna use the overused word pandemic levels. Well, let's just go on ahead and say that. And it really, I think, became it started after the pandemic. But yeah, as many of you know, I'm a 40-year-old man with PTSD and an old man who just needs to get with the times. But I was an old, ride or die type friend. I've got a very tight group. I can be friends with almost anybody. Yeah. You don't like that thunder, do you? But I can be friends with almost anybody, but I'm a ride or die type friend. When we're friends, we're friends. You know, you say you need help, I show up with a shovel and some rope. You need to pull a truck out or need to dig it out, I'm there. But a while back now, I keep wanting to say a little while, but it's been more than a decade. I moved out west for a while, left my home area of the swamps and the trees and went out to the rocks and the sand and made some friends. Some of them were quite a bit younger than me, like a decade or so. And, where I'm from, we talk about things. We can talk about politics, we can talk about religion, and especially in my generation, we could come to an understanding. We could be almost polar opposites on a topic. And by the time we got done talking, ooh, that was a nice little flash there. By the time we got done talking, we would understand where each other's coming from, the positives, the negatives. There's not a victory. You know, in that situation, you're both attempting to learn. And we walked away and, from the conversation, probably still continued to hang out the rest of that day or even moved on to the next thing we wanted to talk about. And that was fine. That was it. Heck, maybe next time we were like, dude, I saw something, that thing you were talking about. Is this what you were saying? And then they're just like, no, but I like that point. And that would start another conversation and we both would deepen our understandings. There was, And that's why, I think the generation that was like the 90s and the 2000s were whenever we were in high school, we got along really well because it was kind of screw your feelings. We said what we want, but nobody took it personal. We all just were like, oh man, I see where you're coming from. Now we knew what not to say and, we could call each other whatever and none of us cared. Well, bring your tire over here. Bring it over here. Stuff. There's Tire. Bring it over here. You don't have to cry. If I keep him busy, he'll stop thinking about thunder. But, and then after I moved out west, I got to know some people, knew them for years, about 4 or 5 years. And then whenever I moved home, I kept up my relationship with them, kept talking. The political temperature has just gotten higher and higher. I'd say the mental strain in general in the world as a whole has gone up. Like, we don't get a break. Whenever I was a teenager, I remember we wouldn't talk about politics at all for a while. Whereas like now it's daily, every day, every hour, you're hit with new stuff. But yeah, I lost my train of thought. But it's the temperature in the country's just rising, the intensity of constant bombardment with political stuff. But these friends, I considered them friends. I would have wrote or died, and just like, hey, what you need? I'm right here. One day, just out of the blue, every single one of them was like, nope, we can never talk to you again. They'd all got talking to each other, and I said, you should never wish for anyone's death. You should never wish for anyone's death, no matter how much you disagree. How would you like it if that was turned back on you? That's just a statement I've always stood by. Certainly political figures, because, that their politics. You shouldn't ever agree with a politician completely. If you do, you got a problem. But every single one of them was just like, no, there's about 12 people overnight. Boom. Blocked, unfriended. They were telling people that I was doing all kinds of horrible things, or saying horrible things. Then they found out I was Christian, which I don't push it on anybody, but that made it even worse. I didn't realize that was a problem, but hey, it is out west. It is what it is. And just like out of nowhere, just over saying you shouldn't wish for anyone's death, I'm now completely blacklisted. These people will not even, I even wished one happy birthday a few days ago. It's like, it's happy birthday. I thought, hey, you don't want to follow me on Facebook or other stuff. That's fine. I do tend to hit like on things, and apparently Facebook shares that. And that was a pretty funny satire comic. Hit like. Well, I guess it shows it to people. We may get a good storm. It just blows my mind. I don't know. Have y'all noticed this trend setting in? And this disconnect culture. It reminds me of back in the mid 2000s, the whole Church of Scientology thing that went on, where the cult culture that they push, the disconnect culture, and the complete cutting people off, and you never talk to them again because they aren't 100% down with whatever the Scientology stood for. I think it's Xenu? Something like that. I remember there's something about a cat named Mudkips. It's been a long time. But it really reminds me of that cult-like mentality where you can't even try to understand. You just completely shut people off, shut them down. This is not a planned video, so I don't have a script or anything like that. To go even semi-related, I think the pressure on people in general has grown to the point. There's a young man that I know, considering to be like a brother, about every 8 to 10 months, the guy just has a manic depressive episode and just lashes out, be it at other people, at himself. It's come my way a few times, and even recently it came my way. And no matter what people say, I was raised that you don't say something that would hurt people, especially in anger. So no matter how much he lashed out at me, I refuse to lash back. Even if maybe there's some little annoyances that I think that I should say that to so-and-so someday. It's not going to help the situation. It's just going to make him worry about, do other people think that? Does it hurt me? And it doesn't hurt me to keep these little annoyances inside. And it's a good exercise in temperance for myself. And I was taught growing up that that's part of a social responsibility you have as a person. You have to control what you say. And if you can control your thoughts, tame them down. Tell yourself, no, this is just, I'm annoyed at the moment because of something else. Didn't get as much overtime as I wanted. Whatever. You know what? It is what it is. But I think that there's a major pressure setting on the souls of the Western world, in general. Being that I am a nerd at the end of the day, I've seen this slow building pressure since probably 2012, just slowly being exerted on young adults. That's not healthy. You're seeing people crack. You're seeing people act out in ways they never would have before. And have you all experienced this? Am I just late to the party and I don't feel normally like putting out these thoughts. I don't like watching the videos of somebody sitting in their car with their phone in their face while they rant about political issues. But power's out. We're under tornado watch. I'm actually warming up some leftover bacon in my smoker so I can have a sandwich. I don't normally fix bacon, but you know what? I had some bacon, and that sounds good right now. Ooh. What is it, little puppy? Did you see that flash? Yeah. Must be a long ways off. Thunder hasn't got here yet. Oh, there it is. It's gonna be okay, Bubba. Oh. Well, yeah. No, I'm really tempting fate. I'm talking about the state of maybe mental and spiritual health in the West in a tornado watch when the power's out in Tornado Alley. Anyway, yeah, this channel was supposed to be for my mental health. I'm sorry for the wandering, rambling style. You know, that just is something that's been on my mind and kind of really depressing to think about, that people would just put politics above people, you know, like, oh, sounds like the neighbor's dogs hopped the fence and are running. We got some dogs that are not fond of storms out here, and I understand too. Whenever maybe they know that there's something coming. The sky hasn't turned green yet, so we're all good. A friend of mine used to joke that in Kentucky, where the grass is blue when the sky turns green, there's a problem. In Arkansas, when the sky turns green, there's a problem. In Texas, when the sky turns green, there's a problem. It's all across the South. Thankfully, they don't, like, the tornadoes don't scream and chase you like they did in the Twisters movie. Twister? Yeah. You want to go inside? Yeah, he picked up his toy. He wants to go inside her. You want to take Tyre with us? Anyway, folks, you know, if you have seen the same or even felt the pressure on yourself, yeah, we're gonna go inside. Feel free to comment. You know, y'all be nice. Don't attack each other. Y'all can attack me. That's fine. I'm used to it. Arf. Oh, Bubba. Arf. But we're gonna go inside. Little guy's staring off at that thunderhead. He's not as happy as I am, or I'm not happy either. Power's out and all that, but I need to stop wasting my phone battery. Y'all take care. God bless you. Have a good one. Are you saying bye too? You gonna tell him bye? Stug, say bye. No? Well, now you were talking just a second ago. Oh, there we go. Okay, he's going inside.